It started with something small. One morning I was standing by the stove, waiting for the kettle to whistle, and suddenly I had to sit down. My legs, they just wouldn't hold me anymore. I laughed at first, told myself it was just a long day, maybe I needed more sleep. But that night, when I looked down, I saw the veins along my calves, blue and raised like tiny rivers that had forgotten where to flow. I used to teach yoga. I used to walk the whole farmer's market every Saturday, but lately, every step feels like a weight I have to drag. And the worst part? It's not just the pain. It's the feeling that my body, the one that once carried me through so much, is slowly giving up. My daughter says, "Mom, just take the pills." But I remember my own mother, standing in her garden with bare feet, crushing herbs and roots in a small jar. She didn't have much, but she had faith in what nature could give. Back then, when her legs would ache after a long day, she'd pull out that jar, her healing oil, she called it. It smelled like spice, warmth, and patience. And somehow it always worked. So the other week, I decided to try her old recipe again. Not because I thought it would magically fix everything, but because I missed that feeling of taking care of myself the way she did. What happened next surprised me more than I expected.
I didn't have my mother's handwritten recipe. All I had was the memory of how it smelled, the sound of her wooden spoon tapping the glass jar, and the way the kitchen filled with warmth whenever she made it. So I decided to start with what I remembered: fresh ginger, a few garlic cloves, one small onion, a pinch of nutmeg, and olive oil, the kind that still smells like the grove. Ginger first. I slice it thin, the way she did. They say ginger warms the body from the inside out. It's not just a saying. Studies show its natural compounds can help reduce inflammation and ease muscle tension. Then the garlic. Sharp, honest, alive. When crushed, it releases allicin, nature's own anti-inflammatory. Mom used to joke that garlic could fix anything but a broken heart. Maybe she wasn't wrong. Next, the onion. I leave the skin on, just like she did. She always said the color and the peel held something good. Now, science tells us it's quercetin, a natural antioxidant that helps calm swelling in our tissues. Funny how mothers just knew things long before the research caught up. And finally, the olive oil. I pour until it nearly reaches the rim. The way light dances on the surface, it feels almost sacred. This isn't just cooking. It's a small act of devotion. Then I do what Mom always did. I wrap the jar in a towel, set it in a pot of warm water, and let it simmer gently. 30 minutes of quiet, slow healing. While it warms, I sit by the window. The scent fills the room. Spicy, earthy, familiar. And I think, maybe that's part of the medicine too. The stillness, the care, the way we return to what's simple. After it cools, I seal the lid. Now it needs a week to rest, to let the herbs and oils speak to each other. A week of patience, of trust. Somewhere in that waiting, I realized maybe healing isn't about finding something new. Maybe it's about remembering what we already knew. A week later, I open the jar. The scent that rises is something between the earth and the sun, warm, spicy, full of memory. I press the cloth gently, and it runs smooth through my fingers. Golden, fragrant, like bottled comfort. I start at my ankles, just like Mom said, always upward, always toward the heart. The warmth spreads almost instantly. Not burning, just gently waking what's been asleep. It's not magic. It's movement. It's the ginger and garlic stirring the blood, the olive oil sinking deep into tired muscles, the nutmeg easing the ache beneath the skin.
Science calls it circulation. Mom called it bringing life back. When blood flows better, the veins don't swell as much. The joints stop screaming for attention. And that heavy, throbbing feeling, the one that made each step feel like carrying a mountain, starts to fade. It's not instant. Nothing real ever is. But the body remembers what to do when you give it the right touch. When I first started this, I thought it was about pain, about fixing something broken. But now I think it's about returning to a part of myself I'd forgotten, the part that listens instead of rushing, that trusts time instead of fighting it. And maybe that's why this old recipe still works, because it's not just medicine for the body, it's medicine for the pace of our lives. A simple mix of what we already have, a few minutes of care, and the body begins to speak again. One quiet breath, one steady beat at a time.
It's been 3 weeks now, and for the first time in years, I wake up without that dull, heavy ache behind my knees, the kind that used to greet me before the morning light did. I don't walk fast, not yet, but I walk without fear, and that's something. When you live with pain long enough, it becomes part of you. You stop noticing the way it shapes your days, how you choose the shorter routes, the easier chairs, how laughter feels heavier than it used to. But one small act, a jar of oil, a few quiet minutes each morning, can remind you that healing isn't always loud or complicated. Sometimes it's just the courage to begin again. People ask me if it really works, and I tell them yes, but not just because of what's in the jar. It works because it asks you to slow down, to touch what hurts, to listen to your own body, something most of us stopped doing a long time ago. Science can explain the rest, the anti-inflammatory power of ginger and garlic, the improved blood flow from gentle massage, the soothing warmth that calms swollen veins. But what science doesn't measure is how healing feels when it reaches your spirit, not just your skin. I think about my mother often, how she found wisdom in the simplest things: a jar, a spoon, a little patience. Now, when I massage the oil into my legs, it's not just for relief. It's a thank you to her, to my body, to the quiet moments that remind me I'm still here. Maybe we can't stop time, but we can learn to walk beside it, one careful step, one breath, one heartbeat at a time. On-screen text: massage daily, listen deeply, heal gently. And if you try this, don't just do it for your legs. Do it for the life that's been waiting underneath the pain, ready to move again. If this story touched you, if it reminded you that healing doesn't have to be complicated, I'd love for you to stay a little longer. Share this video with someone who's been living with pain, someone who's forgotten what it feels like to move freely again, because sometimes healing starts with a story. And if you'd like to learn more gentle, natural ways to care for your body and your peace, remember to subscribe and tap that little bell icon so we can keep walking this path of healing together. Your health isn't just about years in your life. It's about life in your years. Let's bring that life back, one step at a time.